But in general, it's not the love, it's the passion that I have for the game. It's basically basketball is what drives me.
What kind of things are you looking for in an athlete? How easy, how difficult is it for you to identify?
50% for my liking is that he needs to be a good guy with the team.
It's hard for student athletes because it's school, it's training, it's balancing homework, it's balancing revision.
Okay, my opinion, he should have stayed in the NBA. Okay, but being, I always say it, I consider him a Cypriot. I don't consider him to be from Bulgaria. Okay. He's Bulgarian, of course, but I always say on our websites, Cypriot Sasha Vujacic.
Good morning, Neoclis.
Good morning, Marianna.
And welcome to today's podcast, Sports Special. Neoclis, I'm not going to lie. It took me a while to try and figure out how I was going to introduce you today. But you're a man of many talents.
Thank you very much.
You are an ex-athlete. You're a FIBA licensed agent, student mentor. So I decided I want to introduce you, and I will let you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your story.
Thank you for your kind words. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. This is actually the first time I visit these premises. I'm quite impressed by the setup and everything. And also, it's the first time I'm doing this English podcast thing, so I'll try to remember my English slowly. So, my name is Neoclis Theocharides. I've been in the sports world since a very young age. I remember my first sport was tennis. And then I went to basketball, and I fell in love with the game of basketball at a very early age. Played for Apoel, 15 years old. Then 16 in the men's team, where I had the best 5 years of my young career. I only played 5 years. I enjoyed playing. That's where I fell in love with the game of basketball. But in general, it's not the love, it's the passion that I have for the game. It's basically basketball is what drives me. I've been, we will talk about this in detail after, because this is what my message to the young people I will try to give. It's a matter of having a passion and to follow your passion, and your passion can lead you in many different directions.
Yeah, I think I understand that your experience in identifying this passion, this talent. Obviously, as a scout, as a licensed FIBA scout. What kind of things are you looking for in an athlete? How easy, how difficult is it for you to identify? Yes. Do you see an athlete and say straight away that's the one, or? What's the process? What's the thinking?
The process is basically, for me, is I realized I have a talent in realizing talent. So the more time you spend watching a basketball game, the more you study the game, the more you keep up with the game, and the more you can see details on each player's characteristics, personality traits, etc. But identifying talent is what made me become, realizing that I can identify talent, made me a FIBA licensed agent. I had to go through Geneva, because that's how you get your FIBA licensed. It was a big decision for me, because this is the last thing that I've made for myself, that I achieved basically. To start my own FIBA, my own agency. But to answer your question, is realizing talent is a talent.
Yeah, definitely.
In basketball.
Definitely. What kind of traits are you looking for in your athletes?
Listen, okay. For example, it depends on the team. Mm-hmm. Maybe some team needs this type of player. Maybe another team needs, which position they play.
Yeah, I mean, would you say then is it more correct for me to ask you what kind of qualities should an
general.
athlete have?
Yes.
Would that be more correct?
First of all, the personality is the first thing that teams are looking for. Big teams with big players, they need good personality players, because a lot of factors other than basketball play in a team, and that's the first step. That's the first thing that teams look for. That's the first time teams communicate with you, so that they need a good personality, good locker room guy.
Good locker room guy. That's
good locker room guy.
Term.
The talent, of course, you see their statistics, you see their injury reports, so they can be healthy as such. And also, 50% for my liking is that he needs to be a good guy with the team. Yeah. That's the 50% most teams want.
So they can communicate with team members, collaborate with team members. So we have a sports school here at the GC School. I know you are aware. We have a number of sports under this umbrella. How important is it for athletes, young athletes, to begin young, to become so involved with their sports from a young age? Because we're talking about, obviously, at a sports school like ours, they would be training in the morning at school, they would be training in the afternoon with their team. How important is this intensive workout from a young age?
Realizing from a very young age that you love what you do, especially whatever sport it is. You have to set goals, yes, and looking back in my situation, yes, I being a young athlete, I needed hours to practice. Yeah. I needed to find my own hours of practice. When we were young, we didn't have these facilities that you have now in the GC school. We never had this. Yeah. We were waiting for the time to finish school and go practice. But right now, there are better facilities for the kids. Yeah. There is, for me, self-discipline is the number one factor for young kids, because if you realize that if I see a kid that has self-discipline, that's the first thing I will look at, and I will say, yes, this guy has more probability of playing this sport that he likes. Yeah. It's not, for us older people, it's easier to realize this, but for the kids, it's not easy to understand this.
Yeah, fair enough. Definitely. It's hard, though. I mean, as a mother of an athlete as well, as you know, I mean, it's hard for student athletes because it's school, it's training, it's balancing homework, it's balancing revision. I mean, you've been there, you've been a student athlete as well. I mean, what's your advice? How can you get the right balance between school and
my
training?
Advice is pay attention in class. Yes,
Brilliant.
that's my advice, because I did my A-levels. I did really good, I have to say. And I was playing for Abuel, and I was traveling every 2 weeks for the Saporta Cup back in the day. I was a very fortunate young student. I wasn't going to this school, but I was paying attention in class. Paying attention in class, it's very easy to do your homework. Because when you go home, you will remember what the teacher said, you take notes. Yeah. And once you do that, it's like 75% of the test that you're going to take.
Definitely.
So paying attention in class means that you want to be a better athlete, because you focus, trying to go to your practice, do your practice well, and then go do your homework and stuff like that. So basically, it's self-discipline, Marianna.
It's coming back to what you said. It's coming back to discipline. What about education? I mean, we've got students who are saying, I want to be a successful athlete later on when I finish from school. I want to graduate. I want to be a successful athlete. How important is education in this goal, in this dream?
Yes, education starts from the home, from the house, from your family, and which is very important. I'm not saying that everybody will become Sasha Vezenkov, as you and I, we both know Sasha. Education is important for not only sports, it's for everything. And you can apply it in sports, definitely. And I believe that starting from home, going to school, it will help you set goals clearer, because you have to set goals. For example, if Sasha realized, I'm taking Sasha now as an example. Sasha, from a very young age, he realized that he has a talent. Yeah. His father used to be a basketball player. His sister used to be a
basketball. And your old teammate, we have to say.
His father, yes, of course. And he set goals from a very young age with his coaches. Linos, he had Adonis, he had all these coaches. It's a mixed effort. So, education starts from the home.
Okay. Well, you brought up Sasha, our common friend, I would say, to GC School and to yourselves. I know how close you are to Sasha.
The GC School, you got an NBA player.
We had, exactly. We're very proud. We're very proud to have had Sasha Vezenkov as our student. Well, okay, his move from the NBA to Olympiacos is a hot topic, interesting topic for so many. What's your opinion?
Okay, my opinion, he should have stayed in the NBA. Okay, but I always say it, I consider him a Cypriot. I don't consider him to be from Bulgaria. Okay. He's Bulgarian, of course, but I always say on our websites, Cypriot Sasha Vezenkov. And what he did was truly remarkable. And you should be proud from the GC School and from what he have achieved. He was he made it to the NBA. He's a EuroLeague MVP. Yeah. And right now he made the biggest transfer, money terms, in Europe ever. Wow. The biggest contract signed, almost 20 million euros for the next 5 years. So, this is truly remarkable.
And what do such athletes, I mean, moving away from Sasha now, maybe it would be a shame to stick on to. What do athletes have in mind? I mean, we're constantly seeing athletes from all different types of sports. I mean, negotiating contracts, moving, changing teams. What's their mindset? I mean, can you help us? What are they thinking? Are they thinking money, just about the money? Are they thinking team? What is popularity? What's going through their mindset when they're transferring, when they're negotiating contracts?
The evolution of technology, social media and stuff, every player is a brand. Yeah. So they can make so much money nowadays, especially if you are a special talent like Sasha. Even in the States, you'll see some crazy numbers, crazy contracts. It's so competitive right now between sports in the sports industry, the shoes industry, the agents, everything. It's so competitive that drives also the prices up. Each player is a brand, so each player thinks of his own brand and can exploit this in this modern era of sports.
Yeah, yes. So they are purely thinking about how they can grow their brand.
Yes, because they are already an established brand.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's already a EuroLeague MVP. Yeah. He's already been in the NBA. He's already made the biggest transfer in Europe. So basketball is booming. Because we're talking about basketball, basketball is booming, and I think it will fly in Europe. The EuroLeague will fly.
I think in Cyprus, I would say more in recent years, we've seen this greater interest. I mean, I don't know if maybe you disagree with me, but I think for a few years we saw it die down. The interest was dying down. But the last few years, I feel like there's been an increasing interest in basketball.
Very good observation,
You can
Marianna.
see it at the games. You can see it on the courts. That's great. That's so nice.
I'm very happy you say this, because when we started CyprusBasket.net, because in my introduction, I didn't include my Cyprus Basket. I own the biggest basketball platform in Cyprus, very famous in Greece as well. When we started this in 8 years ago, there were only 6 teams. The first categoria, in basketball.
First teams.
And right now there are so many teams, so many young kids in the development program. Right now, the basketball in Cyprus is in its peak. And also we're having the Eurobasket the next summer, which is going to be a big thing.
Amazing.
It's a good observation for you to realize this.
It's good. It's nice. It's exciting to see where it leads. Who would you say is your role model in sports in general? It can be basketball. It can be from any.
That's a very easy question, I think, for me to answer. Is Michael Jordan used to be the greatest of all times for me. I used to watch him when we have Lumiere, if you remember Lumiere.
Yeah, that's it.
And I used to copy his move, try and go to, buying his cassettes, wherever we could buy them from. There was the internet then was nothing. So
is that a combination of what you were saying before? Because both as an athlete, but also as a brand, because what Michael Jordan has managed to do in the world of sports, I mean, just you say Jordan shoes and people forget that it's named after an athlete, but that goes back to what you said before, how athletes are their own brand.
They are, yes. Michael Jordan was the first one who created his own brand. Yeah. Michael Jordan basically changed the whole basketball industry, starting from the shoes, starting from the contracts, starting from his lifestyle, the way he dresses. Everybody was, he was like a huge influence to the young generation in the States and generally in the next future stars, because all these future stars of the NBA, they're making money because of Michael Jordan. Yeah. So, he was for me, and for many people, the person responsible for this
change.
Booming.
This change, this boom, and maybe coming back to where we initially started, maybe what students should see as an example. I mean, the hard work, the discipline.
Yes.
Maybe not the end result doesn't always have to be there, but the time management. I mean, any advice?
My advice, when I speak to the kids, and I always say that you have to know what you want. You have to feel it. You have to have a passion for it. You have to want it. And that's what distinguishes you or makes the difference from others, realizing at a very younger age, it's good. Yeah. Not everybody's going to become an athlete, but at least the more you try, the sports will make you understand broader things in life, such as if you fail in sports, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. You can do something else. You can learn from sports.
Resilience, I guess, like you just said. Yeah, when failure and picking yourself up is something that
very important. It's not always happiness and winning and stuff. Losing is part of life. Also, teamwork in a team. Yeah. I mean, you can learn how to work with others. When I was playing in Apoel, and I was 16 years old, and I was in the first team, I was sitting on the bench and I was learning from my elders. There's always a learning process being in a team, especially in basketball. So many things we could talk about, Marianna, about
it was a big part of your life. It still is a big part of your life. It's a big part of a lot of our students' lives. They're trying to work out how to balance sports in their lives and keep at it and be good at it and keep being good at other parts of their lives as well.
Pay attention in class.
Pay attention in class.
And if you want to become a good athlete, you have to pay attention in school. You have to pay attention in class. And I may sound. You don't have to be the best student to become the best athlete, but you can mix both.
Yeah.
It's not. There is always time for everything.
Yeah. So keep up your good education and keep discipline and working hard with your sports. Just to finish off with, is there anything you're involved in, any initiative, sports initiative that you're involved in that you'd like to share with us?
No, I would like young kids to basically, because there's a huge trend of the kids that are following basketball, and we can see it from our platforms. I'm very happy about this. And basically, we want kids to love basketball, fall in love with the game. Not everybody's going to become a basketball player. Yeah. I became a journalist. I became an agent. Some other kids will become coaches, physiotherapists. There's so many things you can do after, even if you don't become an athlete. So yeah, keep being healthy, keep being in the sport, and keep studying. That's it.
Brilliant. Thank you. Lovely way to finish off our podcast. Lovely notes and great advice. Thank you for coming, Neoclis. And to our viewers, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.